Cleveland for Warner Brothers. A feature for Sony, The Man from Toronto, also in prep. The Titan Games for NBC, in prep. Vacation Friends, that's our friend Tim Bourne, back again for his 18th film. Archer Season 11 is ongoing. Big Red, which is WandaVision TV series for Disney streaming. Council of Dads is getting close in Savannah, that's a TV series. Dead Silent Season 4 for Discovery. Dish Nation Season 8 is ongoing. Doom Patrol Season 2 is ongoing. Dynasty Season 3. Suicide Squad is getting close to wrapping. First 48 TV reality for A&E is going through August. Genius Aretha Franklin through April. Legacy Season 2 is ongoing. Life by the Ton TV reality. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they're on Season 9. Let's see. MacGyver Season 4, they've just added 9 more episodes. So they are ongoing. OJ 25, which is TV reality for Court TV through October. Red Notice for Netflix, that's a big feature. Revenge Prank at TV reality. Samaritan, which is a feature for MGM. Tag Team, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that is a TV series, another streaming Marvel project. The Aquarium Season 2, TV reality. The Resident Season 3, that's for Fox, TV series. Temple Fortunes, which is an indie feature. Tyler Perry's Assisted Living. The TV pilot, Tyler Perry's House of Pain. They are on Season 7. Tyler Perry's Young Dylan. He's got a lot going on. Another TV pilot. Uncensored Season 3, which is TV reality. Underground Railroad, they wrap at the end of February. And Wife Swap Season 2 through July.
Thank you. Also, a quick reminder, please don't leave after the panel because we have some industry relation information that's going on, including the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. All right, Jennifer, take it away, hon.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? Good. Well, I'd like to invite my panelists to join me up here. This is really a special discussion, one obviously that has been curated by Dan Copeland, so thank you so much for pulling this together. And we are actually acknowledging and celebrating Black History Month. And one thing that I'll share with you is Carter Woodson. He's actually the father of Black History Month. He came up with the idea in 1926 and really paved the way for the establishment of Black History Month in 1976. And so we acknowledge him, and really the purpose of this is to celebrate the accomplishments of African Americans in the film and television industry. And I feel thrilled and really overwhelmed and exciting to be able to sit up here with this tremendous group of women who have done quite a bit of work to help to build and obviously sustain the film and television industry here in Atlanta and throughout Georgia. And so I'm gonna let them open us up with introductions. This is a conversation, and so I like having conversations. So if you have questions and things that are really sort of burning and you're interested in hearing, we want to hear from you as well. So I'll start with you, Shania.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. GPP, thank you so much for having us. I want to apologize that I wasn't able to hang out with you guys at our co-sponsored Christmas party. Of course, that would be the week that I would get the flu, but I saw that it went quite well, so it was our pleasure to join you all. And Dan, thank you for the invitation. I am Shania Chavis Rucker. I am with the Fulton County Government Film Office. I oversee that office. I also oversee the government television station. I came this way by way of television. I am originally just a television journalist. Worked my way up through small market television in several markets across the country. Came back to Atlanta and worked for WSB for a decade, and then switched over to government television and was assigned the film division. I guess for the last 4 or 5 years. I enjoy it. I have learned quite a bit. And I am just really grateful for organizations like GPP, and I completely understand your value, and you have been very valuable to me personally, and I just thank you for that. And I am excited about being on the board, on the panel, excuse me, with my colleagues. We are a tag team. We don't go very far without each other. We're grateful that we've had the opportunity to sit on a number of panels. I think just recently, even Bronze Lens with the wonderful Lee. I don't know if she already had to leave, but we are grateful. Good to see you. So thank you guys so much for having us. I'm not going to belabor the conversation, but it's my pleasure to be here. And again, thanks for having me.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shelby Jackson. I am Director of DeKalb County's Entertainment Commission. Our commission is only about 5 years old. I've been managing and putting it all together for about 6, 7 years. I've been with the county for nearly 20 years now in economic development. Calling my age out, I know. Well, anyway, I really enjoy what I do. I love working with you guys. I love working with organizations like GPP, doing all I can to support our creative community in DeKalb. We have a number of events that we do throughout the year. I encourage you to check out our website, DeKalbEntertainment.com. But we really just enjoy working with you guys. It's been a pleasure meeting so many different people from different organizations, including all the ones on our commission, which is Georgia Film Academy, Georgia Production Partners, Georgia Music Partners, Georgia State University Creative Media Industries Institute, Lisa Farrell and Brendan Dicker, where are you? Georgia Studio Infrastructure Alliance, Georgia Piedmont Technical College, our technical college. IOTC and SAG after are also on there. I hope I named all 10 because they're going to be mad. But we love working with you guys and love trying to put together everything that we can to support you and keep you working in Georgia. We work with our students in our K through 12 programs, trying to bring industry into the classroom with students. We love working with our colleges and universities. We're building partnerships with SCAD and Emory and Mercer and Oglethorpe, all the ones that really service our students in the metro region. So hopefully we can have some wonderful things going on and really build this infrastructure that we need in Georgia.
Good afternoon. My name is Cardelia Hunter. I am one of the co-directors for the Mayor's Office of Film and Entertainment. I think we're celebrating 7 years of our office being open to be the one-stop shop for filming in the city of Atlanta. I've been in the office since inception, and so I have had the opportunity to work from the ground up and get to where I am right now. So just want to thank GPP for inviting us out today, and Dan Copeland for putting this together, and I'm just excited and ready to get going. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies. So let's first start. I think a lot about vision and sort of what you have planned for this year. So can you tell us a little bit about what your organization's vision is for 2020?
Okay, I guess I'll start since I was last. So like I said, I've been in this role for the past 7 months, along with Falana Williams, and we are in the process of getting some great programs together for City of Atlanta residents, as well as some programs with schools. But one of my passions is the community and where the production's going in film, and so because filming has just upscaled so quickly here, our communities were the ones who was kind of getting left behind in it. And so the end of last year, we rolled out a community engagement platform, which is called Set South. And it's a platform that helps not only the community engage, but the productions. And so, let's see, when I first came in the office, it was like a 28-page application where I would see productions quite often. And now we're on actually a cloud-based system where I'm able to take a little vacation, but at the same time still checking on permits and making sure everybody's okay. But I go back to say is because our communities were a little lax in just being notified and just really understanding, not only the tax incentive, but why their areas are always getting picked. Our community engagement platform has rolled out at the end of last year, implementing film liaisons in the community, which allows them to kind of get it allows the community to be involved with the permitting process, I should say. So that's one of our main things. And on the 22nd, we're actually hosting our first filming in the city with all of my stakeholders, and I have about 17 that help with the permitting process in the city of Atlanta. So we're really looking forward to engaging not only our productions, but our communities. And we are in the process of a few educational programs that we're going to roll out. Hopefully, I think the first one's going to roll out in the summer. So all I can say is look for more information in regards to it, but I think it'll be great, and I think it'll help when it comes to economic development in the city of Atlanta.
Okay, for DeKalb, we want to continue many of the things that we're already doing. Our vision is to be the one-stop shop for entertainment in DeKalb. So we want to build out our website to include additional information on workshops, on trainings, on opportunities to get in on educational programs, again with those universities and colleges that I spoke of earlier. We want to also host our own quarterly workshops that will take you from beginner to intermediate to advanced. I am being slow to kind of get that started because I really need vendors who have been vetted by our commission who can actually take someone from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And when I say advanced, I mean they need to be getting a job when it's done. So that's where I am with that. Also, we want to build out our locations management mapping system. We want to add as many of the unique locations we have in DeKalb, make it a little bit more user-friendly. We want to leverage our relationships with not only our commission organizations, but other organizations that are either in Georgia or in the U.S. or even around the world, so that we can build our brand awareness for what we do in DeKalb and what we do in the metro region and all of our regional partners here. We don't, when we go outside of Georgia, we don't just brand ourselves, we are branding the entire state. And so I like to take regional partners with me, so we want to leverage those relationships and start really doing some stuff outside of Georgia together to bring more people, make them aware of what we're doing here in Georgia to support you guys. So that's enough for right now.
I will jump in on the last thing that you spoke about, and one of the things, and Shelby and I have not even had an opportunity to speak about this, about one of the initiatives that we want to bring forth in 2020, and actually first quarter 2020, something that we're dubbing the Peach Collective. And what we're trying to do is to get some of the jurisdictions on board so that when we are going to festivals outside of our state, folks don't understand who's Fulton Films. What's that? They know Atlanta. They may have heard about DeKalb, but Fulton, who are you guys exactly? So the Peach Collective will be something, just a networking opportunity for us to show up together with all of our logos so that when you think the Peach, you think Georgia. And so we kind of stumbled upon that accidentally at one of the events last year when we were all there together, ABFF. And so why are we all individually showing up to these events? We might as well show together. So that's one of the things. One of the other things that we're really excited about, and this is more of a 5-year plan, but our commissioners are listening. I report to a board of electeds, and so they really get it now. We used to just simply be a permitting hub, but now they understand when we're talking about one-stop shop and what it all means beyond just the permitting side. How does it impact the community? How can we help you get trained? Well, one of the things that I heard from industry insiders was that, if we're making this big push to live, work, play, stay in our various cities and counties, we need some place for even the industry folks to be able to do their jobs. One thing that we have a lot of, meaning Fulton County, is assets, facilities, venues. And we've got a whole bunch of venues that are just sitting there. And so I heard from the industry insiders that we need a writing room. We need a writing room. So if we're talking about stay, how can we how can we be a part of that solution? And so my bosses are listening. And so I'm getting together with various organizations to figure out what they're hearing as well, so that when we put together this proposal, of course it's got to go through 9 acts of Swan Lake, I'm sure, you know, before we're able to get this thing passed, but at least we have to start somewhere. So those are 2 of the main things that we're very, very excited about this year and bringing forth. And then of course, I'm just begging folks to do business at our various facilities so that I can continue to show our performance metrics that we matter. You know, that's what they care about. How many did you do? How much is it? Yes, in their district, right? So those 2, the Peach Collective, please be on the lookout for more of that. GPP will be asking for your support. And then of course the Writers' Room, so stay tuned.
So, you know, one of the themes that I heard in our conversation even yesterday and today is just this, you know, consistent theme of collaboration and wanting to obviously engage the community externally, but also make sure that they're engaged with the work that you're doing internally. And so one question that I had is, how do people best work with you? What's sort of the easiest way to engage the community and to connect to the community and to the work that you're doing?
Say, well, the first place is to check out our websites, and you'll learn who's our staff, how they're working. You'll learn what our connections are to the industry, and you can check out our calendars and see what upcoming events we have. So the number 1 place to check out is the website. You may have difficulty trying to reach us on the phone because we are typically in meetings all day long. But the other thing is, I always tell people to put on your patience when you're dealing with public offices. If you're trying to engage us, even if it's just for a small sponsorship, realize that we have bosses above us. And I don't know about them, but I can count about 10 people off my hands of how many people I really report to outside of the president of my organization. And so we have to go through a number of steps in order to get things approved in that way. So I always tell people, put on your patience. You know, we love working with you. We love supporting the creative community, and we'll try to work out whatever we can within our wheelhouses.
Can I jump in there? Because I said this at one of the last panels that we sat together. When Shelby says, pack on your patience, and we're all government entities, one of the things that I love to remind, particularly groups like this, whether you represent a company, whether you represent yourself, could you register as a vendor? Start that process. Like before you even call us, the best way you can get my ear is, hi Shania, I'm John. I'm a registered Fulton County vendor. Okay, John, how can I help you? Because without that, we can't do anything. And so it is a self-service vendor registration link. I think you can go on any of our websites, and in that little search bar, just type the word registration, vendor registration. The link will pop up, and it is a pretty simple government process. That sounded ridiculous, didn't it? Simple government process. That just sounded, when I said it, it sounded ridiculous. But nonetheless, you get the point. We need you to register so that at the very least, we can at least start the conversation for how we can support you. Websites, social. Social. If you visit us on any of our social platforms, tag us with things that we won't block you for. Yeah, right. We can block you for. That way we kind of know what's going on. But for us, it's either one or the other. And then we are pretty good about calling, but I receive what you're saying. Please be patient. Just understand that all of our offices are small, and between the permitting and the process and then just the other stuff that we do day to day, sometimes it might take us a day or two to get back, but we would greatly appreciate your patience. But vendor registration link, if you don't remember anything else, vendor registration link.
And when she says social, remember most of our bosses are our friends on social media. That's why we say, don't send us stuff we can't block you for.
I can chime in. So the way we kind of engage with our community is we do have a website, Sets Off ATL. I do have a main line, but about maybe about a year ago, I switched it to ATL 311. That's because it's only two, well, it's three of us now, but it was only at one time two of us overseeing the permitting process. When I first came in the office, it was myself, and I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And I'm gonna hope this is good. We never had any incidents on the street, so that was pretty good. But we do social media, and we do have Set South ATL, which is our website to learn any and everything that's going on. Not only just, because our office has always been known as a film permitting office too. And so now I have a co-director who has some great visions, and we really want to expand into gaming and tech and, you know, fashion and everything. So Set South is our platform, as well as social media. And then, so I'm real personal and I guess old school. If you have my number, I'm going to answer in the middle of the night, on the weekends. I'm in the communities. I just don't go out for just the productions, but if the communities have some concerns, I go out to their meetings. We just try to be well-rounded in everywhere, believe it or not. But we are able to do that with our cloud-based system. But, you know, just being able to be really personal, not only with the productions, but with the communities.
Thank you. And you know what, while we're hopping into the next question, if you have any questions that you're sort of burning questions that you're curious about, you have a few, we'll be passing around some note cards, and certainly feel free to ask or raise your hand. Yes, any questions? Okay, we'll continue. So one other thing that we think a lot about, obviously, in this industry and the fact that Atlanta and Georgia are growing substantially and very quickly is some of our blind spots, you know, areas that maybe we can focus on, or and one of them, as we discussed, was the writer's room. Are there other areas that you see, just based on the work that you're doing within the community, that this audience might be interested in knowing a little bit more about?
Yesterday, we had an opportunity to have a brief conference call, and Dan asked me to make sure that I repeated what I said on the call. Oftentimes when I am training young journalists, I have to almost stop them immediately. I ask them a question, and almost without thinking about it, they say this. And here's the truth. I said it too, until Monica Kaufman sat me down and said, okay, we're never going to say that again, okay? And so one of the things that these young journalists say when we ask them about, so what do you want to do in the business? I want to be an anchor. I want to be the anchor. Everybody can't be the anchor, right? Everybody can't be, but what? 2 of them are in the evening, all right? And 1 newscast, so everybody can't be, but you have a team of supporters. The same is true with our industry. There's a team of supporters. Everybody can't be the director. Everybody can't be the star of the show, the star of the film, and there are a myriad of other kinds of professions, and our colleagues will jump in on this, that you might not be thinking about. One of the things I was very excited about, oh my goodness, the name of the organization escapes me, and I feel so bad for that. They are getting ready to launch a book that we help to support, and they're going to launch it at the Capitol during this legislative session. Yes, Georgia Studio Alliance, Infrastructure Alliance. This fabulous book they're getting ready to release this session, and it tells the stories of the various people in the industry from every place all over the state. Why did they do that, obviously? Is because they want to make sure that the legislators from those particular regions understand how this industry is impacting their very communities. But there are, I mean, everything from the guy who was delivering the barbecue, craft services, the person who's doing makeup, the person who's actually building the set, the guy who owns the little Ace hardware store or the mom and pop hardware store. So when we say blind spot, sometimes we think that I feel as if we could do a better job making sure that the industry is well represented of beyond the creative side, right? And so sometimes we have to communicate a little bit better with them so that everybody knows who all is in the game beyond just the quarterback.
I think a blind spot is our kids. And so we started focusing on our K-12 kids. So in DeKalb, we have a creative pathway program in some of our schools. It's not all of our schools, but we have enough of them that we have teachers who need our support in order to bring industry in. And this who can come to the classroom and just talk to the kids. Maybe your job is in editing, or even if you're a camera person or a makeup person, regardless, they just want to be able to talk to somebody who actually works in the industry and share that with their kids. So we are trying to build that out in our school system. We are having our second annual Student Film Festival with the kids. This is a free event. Please come out and watch these kids, put their films together. It's 3-minute films by each class. It's going to be at AMC Theaters at North DeKalb Mall on February the 19th. So I welcome you to come out. I put some flyers out there, but I think that's one of our major blind spots, is to be able to show these kids that they do have a future in this industry, and they can learn and grow and be able to get into the industry. The other part of that is working with our colleges and universities, because these kids, graduation rates, are fairly low. People are not going to college when they leave high school. And so these colleges are struggling to be able to show these kids that there is a pathway to where they want their career to end or begin. So we're trying to help them figure out how they can show these kids that, whether it's digitally, whether they're coming to career fairs, or however it is that we can show these kids the pathway to get to where they are, where their passion is. And so that's my focus when it comes to that blind spot.
I'm going to piggyback off of it, because yes, that is our blind spot as well. It's the children. It's missing out on the middle school and high school students. And one of our platforms that we would like to roll out this year is because, like Shelby said, the school rate of graduating, really high school, is at a pretty low for us. And so being able to put some type of film programs within the the APS high schools to get the kids interested, because college isn't for everyone. And so if we're able to bring some type of certificate program to them, that as soon as they come out of high school, they're old enough and they went through a program that they can seek jobs in the entertainment business. A lot of students, they only know the actors and the actresses, and of course the director or something, but really yes, hundreds of jobs that are out here that they can, kind of chime in on, but we first have to, make them aware of what it takes even on the backside, and you can, have a great way of living, but, just basically going back to the students and offering some type of program so that, this will keep them excited to even stay in high school, to even get the high school diploma in order to go ahead on and get a certification.
So what about, and I see we're getting some questions, so as soon as those come down, we'll start addressing those. What about other resources that are available not only to the film community? I think, within this room, we're probably aware of a variety of different things, but are there other resources that perhaps you might share with this audience that might be useful, just sort of given not only where we are right now in the industry, but maybe that are aligned with the work that you're doing?
So one of the things that government agencies, they like to do is to partner, right? So when we talk about resources, we don't like to reinvent the wheel, but we do like to partner with organizations, and particularly nonprofits, who are doing some of the work that we can support. This past year, through the Urban League and through the Amazing Stories Foundation, our office, we funded a program where I think it was 13 adults. And my bosses had a real hard time with the whole, because most of our focus is kids too. And so our bosses had a real hard time trying to understand, now let me get this right. We're gonna train some adults. We're gonna train some adults. Because some of the academies are very specific to young people. But then there's this gap of folks who look like most of us in the room, and at any point any of us may have this dream to do something in this creative space, but you might need to get trained. So we worked through the Urban League with this nonprofit, and we gave them money, and of the 13 adults that were trained, between, I think it's an organization with Rob and Sean Hardy and Tanina Packer, And of the 13, 7 of them were placed in jobs post their training, full-time jobs. I know you're thinking, 13, 7? Well, you do the math. That's pretty good, right? That's more than half. So we're looking to partner with organizations, particularly nonprofit, as the resource, so that you come in, like Shelby is commissioned, we vet you, make sure you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, make sure you really do have the resources and the network that you say you have, and then the county will give you the money in order to get these people trained. So that for us, the resource is our partners.
I totally agree with that. One of the other things we want to do this year is develop a database of our assets in DeKalb. Like all of our studios, all of our music venues, but not only that, all of our business associations, our chambers. There's 13 cities that we work with in DeKalb, and so trying to aggregate all of that will be a process for us this year. But I say that to also say we want to know our nonprofits as well, so that when productions come to DeKalb and they film in a general area, we want to be able to provide them with a list of community organizations that they can partner with or donate to or whatever, so that, you know, we can truly leverage the amount of production that's going on in DeKalb. So we're super excited about trying to do that again this year.
Right quick, so not only do we do the permitting and making sure that the locations and the productions move around, we have a joint venture with Invest Atlanta on creative industries, where we actually, this is for, you know, the talent on the outside who wants to be able to get funded to do their project, and whether it's making a movie or promoting what they've already done, or a music video, or writing a book. We have partnered up with creative industries. I think we have funded 6 loans right now, and you know, so this is, we're waiting to see what the outcome is going to be on the creative industry. So that's one of our ways that you can kind of engage if you're actually on the outside and not having a whole lot of money, but need some type of help, and we have that assistance.
Thank you for mentioning your economic development arm, because our economic development arm is Select Fulton. And right now they got the majority of the money. So Select Fulton. We love Select Fulton. So you'll be hearing us, you know, we partnered a great deal with them last year, but since they've got the bigger share, I'll be really partnering with them this year.
All right, so we have a few questions. This one is, of course, from the audience. You mentioned there were liaisons in the community, so the community could be more involved in the process. How do you do this, and how does this work?
Well, what we do is not only do we deal with the productions, but like I said, we're very involved in our communities, and so if we go out to an MPU meeting, or if we know a neighborhood planning unit for MPU, neighborhood planning unit, they sit in the various councils, districts. But what happens is we'll go out to those meetings, and if we know that this is a heavy-hitting place of filming, we always try to solicit someone who would be able to take on notifications with the productions, be able to sit and find out what it is they're actually doing in their community. Because when you have that one person that production can go to in a community, they speak on behalf of their community for the most part, and that neighbor can go to that liaison to find out whatever's going on with that production. It makes it so much easier, because that film liaison is required to have some type of contact system, whether it's email or MailChimp or Nextdoor, to help get the notifications out. It's also good because before the productions even get a permit, they get to come and sit and talk to that community on what it is that they want to do, which makes the community feel like they have a part of that approval process. So like right now, I have probably about 10 or 12, and my goal is to have them in every area that gets filmed in at the City of Atlanta.
Okay, this one actually is pertaining to the actual process of becoming eligible as a nonprofit. Can you talk a little more about the process that nonprofits have to go through in order to be eligible to partner with your organization?
So that's a really good question for our particular office because we are at the inception of introducing nonprofits to our organization. So in fact, I am meeting with our purchasing director because we realized once we got out of just the permitting hub business and we started hosting festivals and partnering with nonprofits that we really didn't have an official government policy to do that. So what we're doing currently is we just ask you to register as a vendor, period. And where you see those lines where it says, you know, the various kinds of disciplines, right? Some might be construction, some might be the arts. You're interested in registering as an arts vendor. But what we're moving to in 2020 is identifying a more specific track to be able, or process to be able to track the nonprofits that are specific to film. Because as you all know, I mean, the creative industry space is wide. And just because you are a vendor in this arts category, well, what does that mean? Like, really, what does that mean? And we want to be able to track the various nonprofits and track what government calls MFBE, which is minority and female businesses as well, because that's one of the things that the government tracks to make sure that businesses being spread out equitably with gender and race. So for Fulton County, just register, find that little search bar that says arts, and that's where you would register.
What office would be the best point of contact for cybersecurity initiatives in the Georgia film industry?
I know, that's a good one.
Okay.
I don't know, cybersecurity, not quite sure, but most of our county offices have an IS department that really deals with that. For us internally, for Decide the Cab, we consult with a company that does our security in-house. So not sure, perhaps you want to reword that question.
And this one is about the writers' rooms. What is your thoughts around what that might entail?
So as I mentioned earlier, Fulton County, we got into the film game because of our assets. So our courthouse, our Charlie Brown Airport, our jail, our libraries, our art centers, which means we have over 200 assets. Some are current, some are absolutely empty. So what I see, and that's what I meant by we're continuing in this conversation. I heard you say you need a writer's room, but what needs to be in the writer's room? So we're taking a couple of trips this year to go and see, so the folks who have said, we really like the one here, you know, and there are some in the city or in the region, but we're talking about like a public, something that is more public, so that Tyler has a fabulous one, Mr. Perry has a fabulous one, and there's, you know, others. But when you're talking about volume, so we're looking to be able to bring in the writers so that they can do their craft. And in addition to that, one of the things that we heard when we partnered with LNGI for our FAM tour, our familiarization tour, was one of the things that we're also told that is missing is people come and do business with us, and then they need somewhere to sit like right then. They need to go like a co-oping working space. So we're looking for that to be both, you know, so and even in some of our indoor facilities, so once Central Library is done, they're gonna have a whole little writing wing, but it really is a co-oping space. So you need to go, you need some Wi-Fi, you need to go to the bathroom, you need to go, any of those kinds of things. So this is really, it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's at the inception phase. And so whoever wrote the question, if you have some ideas that you would like for us to consider, just come see me afterwards.
So I'd
Can
like to.
Can I add one more thing?
Of course.
Okay, so we reached out to the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, and actually invited their members, Southeast. I think there's a West and then there's a Southeast. I'm still learning all this stuff. We reached out to them and said, okay, can we host a meeting of you guys here in DeKalb? It has to be in DeKalb. So they did that. and we did that. So we've had our second one, and now that group is a small group, had some requirements in there. Had to be in it, you had to have actually sold a script. So it's about 10 groups. It's a small, 10 people, it's a small group, and so we want to start more of those and slowly get them going throughout the year. We want to start a beginner's group for those people who, you know, you wrote a script and you just need help getting it to the end, and so we want to do that as well, and hopefully we can vet some people and do that. So like I said, we're aggregating everything, all of our assets, so that we have places for these people to meet on a regular basis. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Shania and Shelbia and Cordelia. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. I really appreciate it. And GPP and Dan Copeland and everyone here who's joined us. We really appreciate your insight and your questions. And sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but certainly if you'd like to ask questions following, feel free to come on up here, and I'm sure they'll be happy to engage your questions following this session. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. A wealth of information. Yeah, and you're welcome to go sit real quick. We still have a couple of housekeeping things to do. The Atlanta Jewish Film Festival has a quick presentation. Is Kenny Blank here? Yay, Kenny! And are we queued up for their video? Where's Brianna? All right, Kenny. Hi.
Great to see you. Hi, everyone. We are very excited. Thank you for the opportunity to give a quick plug for the upcoming AJFF. We're excited. This is our 20th anniversary year, so a big milestone for the festival. Thank you. Thank you for helping us grow it to what it has become. We are February 10th through the 27th. We'll be returning to all the popular venues, the Terra Cinemas, the new Sandy Springs Performing Arts Center, Regal Perimeter Point, Cobb Energy, and the Woodruff Arts Center. I'm really excited this year because for those of you inside the perimeter, we are doubling down on our in-town locations. So we have added the landmark Midtown Art Cinema to our venue mix, excuse me, and the Plaza, for the first time ever. Yes. Thanks to Chris and the Atlanta Film Festival and the Plaza for hosting us for our first run here at the Plaza. We'll be here for a weekend. Got some great films, some Israeli films, Noah Schnapp film from Tribeca, a whole mix of things. The Great Dictator for a big anniversary screening. So come see us at the Plaza, come see us at all the venues. We've got a quick trailer here, 60-second promo, and then I'll give you a couple other highlights.
We're lucky. We get to turn these embarrassing, sometimes painful things into art.
Simplicity, clarity, light.
Cheers. The thing I always want to stress is you don't have to be Jewish to come to the Jewish Film Festival. These are great international films from all the big international festivals. I saw Charles Judson here earlier. He chairs our community outreach initiative. We are all about inclusion. Everyone is invited. And in fact, our opening night film, I wanted to give a special mention at Cobb Energy, Monday, February 10th. It's the world premiere of a documentary called Shared Legacies. It's about the history of cooperation between the African American and Jewish community over the civil rights era and beyond. The film features a number of major civil rights luminaries, including many here in Atlanta, and we'll have a great post-film Q&A with Jill Savitt from the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, Martin Luther King III, Louis Gossett Jr., a great panel afterwards. Again, Cobb Energy, Monday, February 10th. One other film I'll give a plug for, Last Week at Ed's. This is a charming gem of a film that premiered at the Austin Film Festival recently. It is about the closing of a old school West End Hollywood diner, and it is directed by Lawrence Kasdan of the Big Chill fame, the Star Wars films, screenwriter. He's going to be here in Atlanta for a Q&A afterwards with his wife Meg, who co-directed the film. Great opportunity to hear from him, and one of my favorite films of the festival. But lots of options. Go to the website, ajff.org. Tickets are on sale, and as always, GPP members, 10% discount. I think the code is been given to you, GPP 2020, to go online and redeem that for the 10% discount. And I think you have program guides, and we hope to see you at the movies. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. GPP is a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. We also have a couple more film festivals we want to mention. The South Georgia Film Festival in Valdosta, Georgia, we are also a sponsor of, and that's March the 6th through the 8th. And we are going to be wrapping one of our regional meetings around that film festival. And also the Atlanta Film Festival is coming up. What's that? Where's Chris? Chris, say something about the Atlanta Film Festival.
Hey everybody, and I just wanted to say to my friend Kenny that I'm very excited about having you guys here at the Plaza this year. And you not only don't have to be Jewish, I encourage it, especially if you're not Jewish, to go, because it's an incredible program that really builds a lot of incredible understanding between the Jewish and non-Jewish communities. I have a great time every time I go, and I'm really honored that it's going to be this year. So the Atlanta Film Festival, Atlanta Film Society programs are well underway. I want to, first thing coming up, which is very exciting, a lot of our friends are involved this weekend. This Sunday is the Oscars. How many of you have excited? How many of you have a 33-foot screen at home? You don't? Well, I do. It's right here. We're going to be doing an Oscar viewing party here. The mission is pay what you can donation that's benefiting the Atlanta Film Society, Bronze Lens, Out on Film, and WIFTA. So come on out in as casual or as glamorous as you'd like. It's really fun. We did it last year for the first time. A few other little quick programs, the PA Academy. Our next one is filling up soon. It's a fantastic program we do partner with GPP, and it's filling up quickly. We've got some other exciting classes on atlantafilmsociety.org. And then I will also wanted to mention, in case you didn't see it, Mike is, whoever owns this theater, I swear, needs to get some better microphones. We'll get that fixed up. That's me, in case you don't know. If you haven't heard, we've announced the early selections for the Atlanta Film Festival. One I want to especially call your attention to is the Don Porter documentary about John Lewis, Good Trouble, which we're very excited about. And that's going to be opening the festival on our first night, April 30th. We've only announced 6 selections so far, so those of you who have submitted or know people who have submitted, don't worry. That's still underway. Our invitations are going out the end of this week, I believe. Early invitations and notifications is mid-February. So lots of exciting programming coming along. But before we announce selections is the last chance to get the discount currently available on badges. So AtlantaFilmFestival.com for that. Thank you so much.
All right, and one last industry partner. Is anybody here from WIFTA? All right. Well, we want to say thank you again for coming out to the Plaza Theater and joining us for our February GPP meeting. If you aren't a member, we would love for you to become one and get involved and volunteer. Have a great day.